Now,
and we all forgot. So we're really great friends.
Tanner didn't forget. Okay, so if you are not here today, and we don't want to mention any names, who that person is, or if you just like watching math videos with Mr. Roden in it, then we just figured out that the equation of a circle is when you have the center point h and k is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Okay? So this is the form of a circle. Notice there are parentheses that are squared. You should probably be scratching your head like that and say, listen, we've dealt with things with parentheses squared before. Very recently. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to write the equation of a circle with these two problems. So these should be very simple problems. Now, I have been told, I can't remember who it was, but they had a private conversation with me and said they did not get the stick pulling that they felt like they deserved. Who was that? Was that Tess?
Yeah, Will.
It was Tess. Yeah.
Tess already got his stick pulling ability more enhanced. Yeah.
Oh, no. What?
You said that I could get pull three. Because it was only for like the last.
Three's plenty, but you did 2 days of it. I have it written right here.
No, because I pulled on the
Sam,
second day of school.
always. Sam has the spreadsheet. I don't know, the spreadsheet says that you have the special stick privilege already sheet. So I'll spin my wheel.
I have not finished my test.
Yeah, Sam, spin the wheel.
Yeah.
Can I spin the wheel? Let me spin the wheel. Yeah, let's go. Spin the wheel. All right, spinning the wheel. It is Caitlin.
All right, Miss Caitlin, here you go. All right. So, Caitlin, pull me a stick, and we're going to write this one together, okay? Who is it, Caitlin? Sophia. All right, so, Sophia, we want to go ahead and we want to write the equation of this. So, I, being a person with very bad memory, need to recopy the equation right here. So I want to recopy the equation up here. So equation of a circle. Okay. Now, I've already forgotten this equation. So Sophia, can you tell me what the equation is?
X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared.
Okay. Now let's just kind of just off to the side.
It's y minus k squared.
Okay, so just kind of to emphasize, what does H and K stand for?
H and k are the coordinates of the center of the circle.
And then what's R stand for?
The radius.
Radius. Okay, so very good. So Sophia, could you simply just tell us the equation of the circle?
X minus 4 squared plus y minus 3 squared minus 3 squared equals 4 squared.
Which is what?
16.
Okay. Y'all see that? Okay. Notice something, and this, guys, this is, I cannot tell you how many times you're going to see this. You do this, they're called function transformations. And you're going to be doing tons and tons of these over the years. And when you're doing function transformations, ladies and gentlemen, it's always a shift to the right is a minus and a shift to the left is a plus. So it's always opposite. You guys understand that? So just keep that in mind. You're going to see this a lot. These are concepts that are going to come back at you a lot. Okay, Caitlin, pull me another stick. All right, Mr. Xavier, what is the formula for the center of the circle here? Okay. Equals what? Equals 3. Okay. Okay, pretty easy stuff here, right, guys? All right. So that's, again, think about this. If this was a test, these are these easy test points that are just easy, cheesy points that you can just get to pad your grade a little bit, right? So just remember, Mr. Roden's going to put some of this stuff on there. So just to pad your grade, so everyone won't fail the test like some people think they're going to. Now, here's where it gets a little more fun, though. Now we're having fun because we gotta write an equation here. We gotta put this thing in. We gotta put this thing in the form of our circle equation, and we have to graph it. Okay. So now we're having fun. So copy this down and get ready because this is going to take a little more thinking. Are you supposed to be doing something? Okay, then do it. All right. Now, here's the deal. So remember the form that Sophia gave us. Okay. So remember, and I've already forgotten it, so I better write it down so I don't forget it again. So it's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So here's the problem. We don't have any parentheses squared right here. So what do you think we're going to have to do here, class? We're going to have to complete the square. Okay? So even though completing the square and solving quadratics is usually not our favorite thing to do, here we have no other choice except to complete the square. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say x squared minus 4x plus blank plus y squared plus 2y plus blank equals 20 plus blank blank. Okay, so let me do that. Let me smolly this a little bit. Okay, I'm going to smolly this. Sorry. I'm going to move it over. Okay, so this is plus 20 plus blank plus blank. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to complete the square 2 times. We're going to complete the square with the x, and we're going to complete the square with the y's. So the first thing we need to do is we need to figure out what's the b of the x coordinates. What's the b value of the x coordinates? It's 4. So our new x coordinate b is going to be, it's actually negative 4. Negative 4 over 2 squared. Does everyone see that? Now, what is negative 4 over 2, class? Negative 2. And then we're going to square that and get what? 4. So we're going to add a 4 here. I'll do it in different color. We're going to add a 4 here, but we have to add a 4 over to this side to balance the equation. You guys understand that? Okay, now, Caitlin, pull me a stick. Now we need to do, I'll do it in red here. Now we need to find a b for the y variables. Who is it? Kaylee. So Kaylee, we need to find a new c for my y coordinates. So what am I going to need to do there, Kaylee?
I don't know.
What is your b coordinate? 2. So over 2, and then we're going to square it, right?
Okay.
So what's 2 over 2? And then square it.
1.
So we're going to add a 1 to this one right here, and we're going to add a 1 over here. Does everyone see what we just did? Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do is let me give myself a little room here. We're going to write them as a perfect square. Let me get rid of this stuff, okay? We're going to write them as so we're going to factor them as perfect squares. So we have 2 things we're going to factor. We're going to factor yellow. We're going to factor this part into a perfect square, and we're going to factor this part into a perfect square. And by completing the square, it's always going to factor into a perfect square. So how do I write this into a perfect square? I take the square root of x squared and get x. I put this number in front of the b that always goes down in front right there. This sign goes right here. And then I take the square root of 4 and get 2. And that's that. I just factored the yellow portion as a perfect square by completing the square. You guys see that? Plus, Caitlin's going to pull me a stick, and this student's going to tell me how to factor the green portion as a perfect square. Eliana, how are we going to do that? Okay, very good. What is the square root of y squared, Eliana? Y, very good. What's the sign going to be? Plus, very good, Eliana. And what are you going to do next? Okay, it's square root of 1, right? What's the square root of 1, Eliana? 1. So that's going to be 1 squared. And then, Eliana, just help me out. What's 20 plus 4 plus 1? 25. Okay, does everyone understand that? Now, we're not quite done because remember, it's r squared, right? So that 25 is not r, it's r squared. So we need to probably clean this up. We need to write the radius as the radius squared, right? So what is the radius squared going to be, guys?
625.
No. You got to take the square root of that. Okay? So it's 5 squared. So we could rewrite this as x minus 2 squared plus y plus 1 squared equals 5 squared. So now, when we're graphing this, we need some information here. So first of all, we need the coordinates of the center. Okay, you guys see that? So we need the coordinates of the center, and then we also need to know how long the radius is of the circle. Okay, so we know the radius of the circle. How long is the radius of the circle, class? 5, right? So it wouldn't make any sense. And then now, what's the center of the circle? Is it -2? Remember, it's always opposite. So it's going to be +2, -1. It's always opposite, right? You guys see that? So the first thing after that we're going to do is we're going to graph the coordinates of the center point, which is 2, -1. So write 2 down 1. Y'all see that? And then what we're going to do, and you really should have a compass, but we're just going to kind of freehand a little bit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use a radius of 5 to make our circle. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go all 4 directions and then kind of freehand a circle. So I'm going to go 5 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I get a point here. I'm going to go 5 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go 5 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to go 5 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now you're going to do your best version of a circle you possibly can. You know, if I want to, you know what I'll do is I'll ink to shape it and see if that works. Okay. You would probably want a compass and just take your compass, put your needle here, and then put your pencil here, and then just turn it around. I'm just going to do this. Please work. Please work. Please work. Please work. Come on, please work.
Whoa.
Oh. Try that again.
I was like, what did you draw?
Okay, try that again. Hold on.
There you go.
Square.
Ah, that's perfect. Pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. How's that for perfectly almost good? I don't know how to do that. Okay, guys got that? Oh yeah, I could have done that too. Okay, all right. Guys good with that? Okay, so your job, ladies and gentlemen, is to do the exact same thing with this Mamba Jamba. Here we go. Okay, and then there will be sticks being pulled for this. Here we go. I guarantee on the test on Thursday, I will give you a problem where you have to complete the square and then
Only one though, right? Okay, wait a minute.
But there's no B.
Well, that's tough.
B0.
Yeah, get it right.
What? So the new is 0. You're in timeout, man. So it's just.
Cody, stop pushing against my desk. Cody, you're actually getting it.
I sit here and terrify over it. No, somebody's.
Why do you like
You scare me.
Minus.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and then you do minus 0.
You know what,
Plus
Tegan,
blank.
this is why I wanted to switch
Or we can
seats.
do plus 0.
Is what talked about that. So,
I had stuff.
Plus y squared
They did this morning.
plus 4y.
In fact, I reduced it.
Kids with math teacher moms. Can never surprise.
Exactly.
They don't get
That's
that. They
what
don't
I'm
get that
saying.
like fun aha moment because they know it all. That's
Aha.
already.
Oh, how? Exactly.
Oh.
Okay, so b squared would be just 0.
What? We're here.
Okay. Amy, you wanna tell me how we do
Oh, yeah.
So now you're ready to write this on. So perfect
And
square.
then we got.
So basically 4 needs to go last.
Then we get.
Oh.
That's alright. Oh, we just do x. Like in parentheses.
Yeah. So now
So
you're
we would
going
do
to square
x
that, put it here.
minus 0.
Plus here.
Plus 0. Either way.
What do you get?
X plus 0.
Fine.
Y.
All right,
So
so
that's the X.
Caitlin, pull me a stick. Okay, who is it?
Great.
All right, this is Tess. This is Tess. All right, so
Tess.
Tess, what's the first thing you're gonna do on this one, Tess? What's the first thing you're gonna do? Yeah, and I think that's a really good idea. So if you're confused right now, write it out with a blank. So look what Tess is saying, and I think that's a great idea. So she's saying this: we have x squared plus 0x plus blank. You guys see that? Plus, because we don't have any x's at all, so we have 0 x's, and I think it's good to write it out like that. Okay, I don't know if Tess did it that much, but I would. Now, and then you're going to do your y squareds, right, Tess? So you got y squared plus 4y, not plus, sorry. Y squared plus 4y plus blank equals 5 plus blank plus blank. Does everyone see that? In theory, technically, we have to add 2 things. Since we're adding 2 blanks on the left, we have to add 2 things on the right. You guys see that? Okay, now, Tess, what is b when you're dealing with, so remember guys, you're always completing the square twice on these problems. We've got this part we got to complete the square on, technically, and we've got this part we have to complete the square on right here. See that? Okay, so Tess, what is our b in the green portion, the x portion? 0. So we're going to take 0 over 2, and we're going to square that answer. And yes, I am actually going to do it. I don't want to just say don't do it because it's 0, even though it's not going to affect. So you can kind of see what we're doing here. So Tess, what is 0 over 2? 0. Square it, you get what? So technically, guys, we've got to add a 0 on the left, and we've got to add a 0 on the right. Is that going to affect anything? No, but it's good practice. So, okay. All right, Caitlin, pull me another stick. Who is it? All right, Tegan, What is the b in the yellow y portion? 4. 4 over 2, and then we're going to square it, right? So 4 over 2 is what, Tess? I mean, Tegan, sorry. Tegan.
Okay.
Sorry. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. 2. Now square it. Gives you what? 4. So we've got to add a 4 to both sides. Does everyone see that? Okay. Now, what we need to do is we need to write the green portion as a perfect square. So remember, if you complete the square, it can always be in these forms like this. You guys see that? So this green portion is going to be the x's written as a perfect square once you complete the square. And this yellow portion is going to be the yellow portions once you complete the square. Does everyone understand that? So, Caitlin, pull me a stick, and this person's going to tell me how to complete this, what the green portion is going to be. Esme's not here. Go ahead, next one. All right, Mr. Brady, what are we going to write in the green portion?
So it's going to be x.
Yep.
Plus 0.
Plus 0 squared, right? Okay. Now, Brady, what are we going to write in the yellow portion?
Y.
Yep.
Plus 2.
Plus 2.
Brady's insane.
And then what's going to be on the right side of the equation?
9.
9. Okay, excellent job. Now, let's clean this up so it's nice and pretty, so we don't have plus zeros and all that good stuff, right? So, pull me a stick, Caitlin, and this student's going to tell me how can we clean this up nice so it's in the form of our circle. Chris. All right. So, Chris, how can we rewrite this?
0, negative 2.
Okay, so we want it. So, could we say that this is x squared, Chris?
Oh.
He was saying
Is that how you want it?
He was saying the center point.
Yeah, you don't want the center point yet. I just want the equation cleaned up. So, do we need to say x plus 0? But the 0 doesn't affect it any. So, isn't x plus 0 just x class?
Oh.
And then you square it. So, this is going to be x squared. Does everyone understand that? Plus, the y is good to go, right? So, this is going to be what, Chris?
Y plus 2 squared.
Yep. And then over here, Chris, how do we want to rewrite this so we can see the radius?
3 squared.
3 squared. Okay. This is how we would write it. Now, good job, Chris. So the next person is going to, who Caitlin calls, is going to give us the center and the radius. All right, Mr. Cody, what is the center of the circle?
So, I didn't get this far. Okay. You just use the equation. So I just have to
Okay, Cody, look at this. What number is connected to the x? That's 0. If it's a plus 0, if it's a plus, it's a negative. If it's a negative, it's a plus, right? So, but 0 doesn't, so it's just 0, right? Now, Cody, that's the x value of the center point. What's the y value of the center point?
2.
Is it 2?
No.
It's opposite of plus, right?
Negative 2.
It's going to be negative 2. Does everyone understand that? Cody, what is the radius?
No. It's 21. 4.
It's 3. Does everyone understand that?
Yeah.
And then you graph your center point. Okay, 0, negative 2 is right here. This is the center of the circle. Okay, and then I always just do 3 to the right. 1, 2, 3. 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3. 3 up. 1, 2, 3. 3 down. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to try this fancy thing that Sophia says is so great called shapes. Okay, so let's do a circle. Well, no, it's not. It's not that good of a circle.
That's a
Okay,
no.
there's a, and then,
No. That's not the circle.
You put it on the middle.
and then you make it bigger.
Stretch it out.
That's
That's
too big,
nice.
That's okay, take your time.
Just
See, there you go.
now just take the sides and put it in.
Yeah, just take one. Just take. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
There you go.
Perfectionist. Still not good enough.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good, right?
Hey.
Good shape.
Okay. You guys good with that? All right. So the last thing I want to talk about is a proof. Okay. So now it says the point, prove or disprove that this is true. Is the point 3, 7 centered at the origin? Now, so here's the thing. Maybe we won't get to quite this yet. We'll get it tomorrow. But okay, so here's an interesting thing. If I have an equation like this, x squared plus y squared equals 8 squared. Okay. What is the center of this circle, guys?
0, 0.
Right. So if it's just x squared and y squared, this is kind of the simplest way you can write it. And this is centered. Where's this centered at?
0, 0.
Right. It's centered at the origin. At the origin, right? Okay. All right. Now, we still have plenty of time. We can do this proof. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's take a look at this. It's not really even a proof. I'll just plug in stuff in and see if it's true. Okay. So if they give us this point 3 comma the square root of 7, and the circle point blah 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 circle centered at the origin and containing the point, prove that or disprove it's true. Okay. Let's see here. So step 1, plot the point. Okay, so here's the deal. What do we not know on this? Point 3 comma square root of 7 circle centered at the origin containing, is this point on the circles? What is this point on the circle? Okay, so how do we figure it out? So what we have here is we have 2 points. We have 0, 0 for our center. So you guys see that? And we have another point that's on the circle that's -4, 0. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what do we not know? We know the center point, right? We know H and K. What do we not know, though? Do we know the radius on this?
Yeah.
What is the radius? Why do you know the radius is 4?
Because you can count up.
Yeah, it is 4. Because you can just count, right? So -4, 0 is right here. So you know your R is 4. Now that's kind of boring, but R is 4, right? So now, what's our equation of a circle? Our equation, in this case, our equation is going to be x squared plus y squared equals 4 squared, right? Now, we're going to see, is this point true or not, right? So, instead of an x, we don't know if this is true, so we're going to put a question mark over the equal sign. Okay?
Square root of 7 squared.
So 3 squared plus the square root of 7 squared, does that equal 4 squared?
Yeah.
I'm hearing yes. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, 9 plus 7.
This is 9 plus 7. Does that equal 16? So it is yes. Okay. Do you guys want to call it good for today? Okay, I'm going to now stop the video and put it into videos. So